Sheriff's Department and CHP monitoring his every move as we make our way now further into the valley. We're going away from the 405 now, Steve.
Extremely erratic behavior from this driver going up on curbs. When you look at it, you think, oh, it's just a sheriff's, police car going up on these streets. But this is just a guy who stole this sheriff's vehicle, has the lights on. People are pulling to the side when they see it. We saw a school bus go by. If he didn't have these lights and in this sheriff's vehicle, it could be
Might
much
see
worse
another
than it
pit
is right
maneuver
now.
here, possibly another pit. Now we have an officer in front of the vehicle in question there. So he's got, okay, now he's backing up. He's going to ram into another sheriff's vehicle. Here we go, guns out.
Shoot out the tire.
Okay, shots fired. Shots fired by LA County Sheriff's Department. He is now speeding. He's continuing on. So this is why we don't see this very often. Very peculiar tactics here as they tried to cut him off, pulled right up beside him. The officer actually exited the vehicle as he was moving. This guy got desperate. He rammed into another vehicle behind him and then kept going as he continued the pursuit. One of those officers who exited the vehicle fired his weapon into the driver's side of this pursuing vehicle here. So this vehicle, obviously, this driver, I should say, obviously in a very, very desperate situation to evade authorities, and now we have no idea what kind of a condition he may be in. But we can say for sure that shots were fired as he tried to get out of that situation.
And Chris, what's also interesting in watching this is that, as you said in the beginning, the Sheriff's Department tends to be a little more conservative in their pursuits. This is not conservative at all.
This is the least conservative thing I've ever seen, maybe by any agency ever.
Well,
I don't think I've ever seen that. I mean, you think back to about a year or two ago in San Bernardino where they were firing shots from a helicopter. That was a wild pursuit. I have not seen anything quite like this in terms of the tactics they're taking here. But again, they're in a desperate situation with a guy who's heavily armed in one of their own vehicles. Now he's got that driver's side spotlight on, that floodlight. He's got his lights and sirens on, and he is now speeding through the San Fernando Valley in what can only be described as a wild and crazy police pursuit. Another LA classic here, guys.
Well, it's a very scary situation for the Sheriff's Department right now. This man that we're following, you're looking at a sheriff's vehicle, but someone stole this vehicle, and we don't have it confirmed yet, from a psychiatric ward. There are weapons inside the sheriff's vehicle, we're being told, and this man is just driving erratically through the streets. Police did, as you just saw, Sheriff's Department kind of trapped him and then shots fired into the vehicle.
Yeah, we're continuing, by the way, south on White Oak, and the next major is going to be Van Owen, I believe, but he's going to have the option of getting on the 101 in the next couple of minutes here. So he's going to be coming up on the 101. We're continuing southbound through Reseda on White Oak Avenue, and we have more officers coming up. I can tell you LA County Sheriff and LAPD circling at a very low altitude as they continue to track this guy. Also something that we see, but that the altitude that they're flying at, they are very low, right above this guy. And again, continuing southbound on White Oak, coming up on the 101 very shortly here, guys.
It seems like the sheriffs, oh, there they are, okay, had backed off a little bit, but now I see the other sheriff vehicles getting a little closer again, and we've seen this, Chris, a couple of times, that they're trying to get really close to the stolen sheriff's vehicle and kind of block him. They didn't try the pit maneuver, they just kind of got in front of him, and then he backed into another sheriff's vehicle.
And it was at least the third time that we watched them do that. At one point, they did it in the middle of an intersection. At another point, they actually went around traffic to try and cut him off at the pass. Unusual tactics, to say the least. And now we find ourselves in this situation. He might be pulling over here. At least he's slowing down. Yeah, he's pulled over. Now we have officers behind him, LA County Sheriff's deputies behind him, possibly driver's side door open.
It seems like there's someone walking out. Do you see him right there?
That's an officer.
It does.
Okay.
That's an officer right there. He's going to be behind this tree.
The guy going down on his knees? No, that was him going down on his knees. There you go.
Yeah.
I think he just went down. There you go. He seemed to be wearing white.
We're coming up on the other side of this tree here. Looks like that driver's side door is indeed open, and the driver is now on the ground.
Now, Chris, it'll be interesting.
He is being taken into custody. Wow. Guys, I don't know if I've seen anything like that in quite some time. Seriously.
And also, to end as easily as this thing ended after all the difficulty
Well,
of
he
this
could have
pursuit.
been wounded because one of the
He may
sheriffs.
very well. Yeah, I see blood on his shoulder
Yep.
there. He does appear to be injured. He is wearing a pair of shorts, but that's about it. And he is going to be taken into custody immediately here and waiting for an ambulance until he can get checked out
Wow.
here. But obviously, a very unstable individual going through some very desperate measures to try and evade authorities here. This could have ended so much worse, guys. I don't have to tell you. That could have been a much scarier conclusion. But just knocking on wood that ended as peacefully as it did.
You're absolutely right, and we didn't see the normal end. You know the procedure at the end, the dance on the ground,
Yep.
the commands, the steps taken. They just took this guy and put him away right now.
And I
They
believe
wasted no time approaching him. That was, and they know, and especially considering knowing that he has weapons in the vehicle, the way they approached him. Now, it does appear that he opened that driver's side door. So once he opened that driver's side door and exited the vehicle, I don't think they did that he did that under their command. But once he did that, they had to approach him and take him into custody. Fortunately, they were able to see that his hands were empty, so he wasn't in possession of any of the firearms inside that vehicle.
Right.
But
And
man, what a wild end here. We'll come around to see if there's actual gunshots through that driver's side window. But again, it does appear that that driver was injured, possibly as a result of gunfire.
Yeah, it seemed like we could see on the screen that he did have blood on his right shoulder when he was walking away.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
And so you know, everyone might remember just now when the sheriff's department came up to him, he took out his gun and started firing right there. When I saw it, I thought, is he going to try to blow out his tires? But I think they were in a situation where it was frightening for everyone, and it could have caused a lot more damage. So they were like, we got to get to this.
In all of the pursuits we've seen, the hundreds of pursuits we've seen, seeing an officer jump out of the car and start firing, I think is the first time we've ever encountered that.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen anything like that, and the way they kept trying to cut him off, they just bailed on their typical pit maneuver strategy and just tried to stop him at all costs. The commander in this situation gave the go-ahead to do whatever it takes to get this guy off the road, and for obvious reason. I mean, he was jumping onto sidewalks, he was jumping onto the curb, he was in oncoming lanes of traffic, and they were equally desperate to bring this to an end. But in a way that we just have not seen typically in the past, despite all of the pursuits that we see every day. This was definitely an unusual one.